when last we left our spunky spelunkers,
I mean, that works, I guess.
Our super spunky spelunkers,
True
they
enough.
were spelunking.
Spunkily. I hate that. That was bad.
No, it's, don't ask a British person to react to what we just said. They were spelunking spunkily through the caves of Sherrick 1. They went down a very, very deep hole. So deep for a very long time until there was, I believe, movement and light was spotted. And so your cables were anchored and you rushed down a corridor. Well, not rushed, you crept down a corridor. That's a better way to put it. And were accosted by slug-like creatures from above who tried to eat your heads specifically. Maybe what was inside them. I don't know. So they didn't get a chance because you kicked their asses. Mm-hmm. Though with some consternation. Ooh, consternation's a good word. Anyway.
It sure is.
But then there was also a Unav creature that appeared and was also accosted by the slug creatures, and you all saved them from being completely devoured and probably killed. And a inkling of a connection was formed, and relations appear to be amicable in the moment, and this creature is leading you somewhere, and that's where we find ourselves in these moments. We're going further down the tunnel with this creature now kind of glowing a light baby blue, and it's dim. The light is dimmer than you have seen before, like when it was in the middle of being eaten, its light was quite bright inside it. Now it's as if it is purposefully dimmer. Purposefully or not, it's hard to tell, but it is dimmer and kind of a light blue as it also kind of creeps, and you all kind of follow. Are there any things in these moments that are desired to be done?
I don't think anything necessarily has to come of it, but Ash is trying to study this creature as close as she can to try and figure out if she can even get an inkling of how. I mean, obviously they use the lights in formation and brightness to convey their thoughts and emotions, and so she's just like maybe a little too intently staring at this creature because she's trying to see if she can parse anything out.
Alright, so your eyes are on the creature pretty much at all times. And you do notice nothing new, but really, like, take to mind the intricacies of, like, there appear to be just dancing lights inside this creature. Pinpoint inside, the size, as if fireflies live inside it and dance around trying to escape. But not in a way that, like, flies bounce against the window. It's more just, like weird little flight patterns. And sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow, and of course the colors change. It doesn't appear to be changing much in these moments as you're simply creeping down these tunnels. It is quite a long walk. So, okay, yeah, somebody else wants something?
No, something I meant to ask you before, but I never got around to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have asked this, like, 2 levels ago.
Sure.
Are we keeping track of our power cells for our weapons?
Oh, that's a good question.
Namely myself.
Am I? Am I doing it?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Well, because it's basically the ammo, right?
Yeah. Power cells are ammo.
We can address that later. In these moments, it's easy to say that you would have brought plenty. You knew this was a subterranean journey that could lead into danger, so you brought plenty. You're a soldier. You have pockets for those.
Yeah. I have. So power cells are interesting in this game because power cells work on all blasters. However, every blaster has a different amount before they have to reload.
Yeah.
For example, a blaster carbine takes a power cell to fire as ammunition, but it has 6 rounds.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a light pistol has 8 rounds before it had to reload, but it takes the same power cell.
We will say for now you have plenty. I don't think there's any reason why you wouldn't have packed plenty.
Well, yeah.
Because you had time to prepare. But we'll keep track of at least the shots that you have fired and when you need to reload, because reloading takes an action, I imagine.
Honestly, I have yet to like run out of shots before combat ends.
Yeah. That might change today. Who knows? Actually, it won't change today. I can guarantee you that.
Have you finally learned that we just never get to combat when you want?
No, I know things you don't. It's fine, but I can guarantee you that won't change today. Maybe later though. Who knows? But I imagine power cells have a cost to them. But it's like keeping track of bolts. When you're a crossbow fighter, it's kind of like, literally, when in Star Wars, except maybe like 3 times when it was important to the plot, has like the number of power cells they have left mattered.
Yeah, exactly. I do like it in this system, however.
Yeah. We can see about, we'll say you have plenty now, but see about just
so I'll just
flavor
put,
wise,
like,
mechanically, every once in a while
I'll just put 10 power cells. I'll just put 10 power cells in my inventory for now.
If you think that Nyx thinks that would be enough, then I think that's fair.
I think that's more than enough, to be perfectly honest.
Since power
At
cells are
least for now.
universal, like you'd be hard pressed to find places that don't have them. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything else?
As far as the game is concerned, Nyx is like very cautious. This whole situation does not sit well with him. However, he as per usual, he will take point.
Yeah. Well, the creature is taking point because you have to follow it.
He's following behind the creature. He's right behind him.
Cal probably has like the closest connection to the creature. He'll probably be right behind Nyx.
Yeah.
Ray will be in the back.
Taking caboose in case you are jumped from behind.
Yep.
Speaking of, roll stuff. No.
Yep-a-roo.
No, I'm kidding. If that is it. It does take quite a while. It's, especially Nyx, like your internal clock, since like training had you do shit like this, you're guesstimating like you guys have trekked like more than 2 miles at this point, and there's a handful of like splits in path that it goes left and then right and straight ahead and continuing straight when there's a split, and there's even one moment where there's an upward split in the path that the Unav creature just kind of climbs.
Oh.
It's only about 10 feet up, so you guys, I'm not gonna make you guys roll checks, just like
I have climbing gloves specifically for this purpose, so Ash is
Yeah.
just able to skitter up like it's no big deal.
Yeah, I imagine Cal can force jump. Nyx and Raestra can just use their rock climbing skills, and same with Earl. It's not hard. It's just a thing that happens, that these tunnels go in all kinds of directions, but the Unav have no problem navigating it.
I can force jump.
When you do,
Hell, I'll even do a little.
since you're probably right behind Nyx, like Nyx, gets his shoulders above the edge and then pulls himself up, and you like do a little flip and like land right next to him, which is a cool moment. But also the Unav like is turned towards you when it happens, and there's like its posture is completely paused as it takes you in like about a 5 beat pause before it just continues forward, and the people still climbing have to catch up a little, but it doesn't impede any progress. As the like time wanes on, there appears to be more and more moisture is not the right word, but like, and vegetation is not the right word either, because these are fungi. Along the walls and the ceiling are like large capped mushrooms. They just look like mushrooms, like your regular run-of-the-mill round domed. They are bioluminescent in some fashion, because as you pass them, and they range they're like along the walls and the ceiling, and sometimes like the corner of the floor, but apparently not the floor, because this floor might be too trafficked, or they don't like growing on the floor. It's hard to tell. They're all different colors of bioluminescent, just kind of, it's like to wax fantastical fairy dust, just kind of sprinkled on the caps of these mushrooms, making them glow in all kind of different colors. And that the volume of these mushrooms kind of grow more and more as you traverse, until there's like one last right turn, and you emerge into a cavern, a wide open cavernous chamber. Looking up, it's hard to see the ceiling of this. The light kind of just doesn't reach high enough for you to see where the ceiling of this cavern is. It's simply that tall. And as you look around, it's like a town. There are, right before you to the right is kind of an open flat area with large versions of these fungi growing like trees, and they've been placed like equidistant and neatly and orderly, as if this were an orchard.
Oh.
Different colors for these, but not quite the variety of the wild ones you saw back in the tunnel. And you see, first thing, if your eyes lock on the orchard, air quotes, like two Unav are at the base of one of these mushroom trees, and they are whacking the trunk with those spears that you've seen these things wield, but the back of it, the bunt of it. And as they do, they seem to take turns, and one is holding some sort of container, and the other whacks it, and then all the spores, which are, as you notice now, the fairy dust is the spores. The spores are what's glowing, kind of fall down, trickling into the container that the other one is holding, and then they swap tools and do it again, and you watch them kind of do that 3 times and then move on to the next tree. And further down at the edge of the orchard are 2 more with spears, but they have the pointy ends kind of raised up and prodding at the bottom of the cap, and it appears that they are kind of slicing and cutting and threading and pulling down the fibers that make up mushrooms. You know how mushrooms are fibrous in nature, at least some are. They're pulling down these fibers in neat, equal length bits and putting them in a container, a wide, not that deep kind of basket-like container, though it does appear to be a basket because it would be made of these fibers. And there would have been a lot of moss along the walls that you walked along as well, and some of it makes up the grass of this zone, and it also has not nearly as much as the mushrooms, but a little bit of glow to it, a little bit of bioluminescence. But this doesn't appear to have any variation in color. It's all kind of green, like its makeup. And then so you see those Unav working at the trees, air quotes. And then further down, it's strange. It's not unlike Aneth, right? There's a central street with buildings flanking it, and it doesn't go that far because this cavern's huge, but not quite a football field, maybe a baseball field, right?
Mm-hmm.
In size, but enough to fit this civilization, right? And it, the street is clear and clean, but just mainly probably because of all the traffic that walks. The stone is smooth underfoot as you walk, and you see there's splits in the buildings where there's zones where it looks like there are raised platforms where, not right now, but it looks like there are half put together things made of this fiber. You can see the roof of every building appears to be made of the fiber from the mushrooms, and there's even one early on that appears to be a hollowed out mushroom. It appears to not be glowing anymore. It's as if it died and is petrified in these moments, and they hollowed it out and made it into a living space.
Ominous.
Hey, you use every part of it. That's not
Yeah.
And the other buildings appear to be made of stone that seem to be carved into nice large bricks that they stack up in the proper way that is the most structurally sound. You know, I don't know how to put it. Like, they're staggered. You know, one row, and it appears they also have some sort of concrete sealant that they found because you could see the in between. It's about as, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Ooh, not sufficient. Jesus.
Efficient?
Efficient is not the word I'm looking for, but it'll do. It's about as like efficient and pretty modern as you can get with how these buildings are put together. There are smaller Unav, you know, and I say smaller, it means they come up to most of your chests because these things they do come taller than you humans. But they appear to be kicking around a sphere made of the fibers. Kicking and like hitting it with their hand bulbs. It seems like a weird combination of soccer and volleyball with no net and no like goal. They just appear to be hitting the ball around like kids do, you know, when they don't feel like organizing a game and just they want to play with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
None of them stop to see. I was gonna say look at you, but that's just not. They don't have eyes, right? But none of them even stopped. Yeah, none of them even stopped to observe or like take you in. It appears like creatures walking through the middle of this town is not noteworthy enough. Maybe one or two who were on the sidelines turn the front of their head bulb towards you guys as you pass, and their head bulbs follow you. And there's like, you can see there's movement, and the Force sensitives and Asha can feel that there's movement in a lot of these houses, but only like one adult-looking entity peers out a window to observe you. But you make your way all the way to the end to probably another house made out of a hollowed out petrified fungi. This one much larger, and the creature gestures you inside this particular Unav that you saved. Well, actually, it would not gesture you inside at first. It would make a circle gesture with its bulb, and all the lights inside it would kind of hold still instead of dancing around like it usually does. Cal, because of your connection and your advantage on insight, I'll say your passive insight is enough that it wants you to stay here for a second. Do you acquiesce?
Oh yeah. We'll wait here.
I follow Cal's lead.
Same.
So Nyx he's not unsettled. However, he is like taking into consideration that like the fact that not only are these creatures that they've been interacting with sentient and capable of organization, they've created settlements and are living out their lives down here, which means that if the Empire is still following Republic regulations, means that production here needs to cease almost immediately.
Yeah. This planet would be, and if you, oh boy, no, actually this is some complicated. Make a lore check.
Sure. 13.
Another one?
13. Yeah, basically with a 13, that's what you would know. They would have to stop. Like, I was about to pontificate the legal details, but you wouldn't know those.
Yeah, I mean, I know enough. I know that this is like...
Yeah.
This is, like... He's actually going to walk over to Rail and say, this is enough grounds to cease production here immediately.
Yeah, they'd declare this legacy. If it houses a species that's not spacefaring yet, we'd make contact, try to ingrain them into the Republic, but that's not how the Empire likes to work. You're right that it's enough for legal grounds, but I think it's just not enough that the Empire would deem the production more important than the lives of these creatures.
But it makes sense why these creatures are attacking the miners. The miners are moving in on their territories. They have family lives. They farm. It makes sense that they're fighting back.
There's gotta be a way to find some semblance of diplomacy here. Maybe if we can figure out to get past the communication barrier, we can have some peaceful relations and figure out something so that the people that live here to do work don't have to try and figure out how to get off and go somewhere else, and the Unav can just still live and continue to be as they as they are, you know?
Make an in check, Asha.
If this was still the Republic,
Okay.
I'd be inclined to believe you, but this isn't the Republic anymore.
The Empire doesn't have to know.
That's what I'm saying.
Ooh, 23.
What Nick says you find hard to believe, because the mining operation is nowhere near this settlement. You went down so far and walked so far that you think the drilling wouldn't even resonate through this rock. So it doesn't make sense that they're attacking. It's a little weird.
Actually, no. They're not far enough down that this would even touch their settlements. So unless there's a huge network that's a lot closer to the mining operation than that we're aware of, like, it doesn't make sense why they'd be attacking. Something's happening.
I think you're right, Asha. If the mining operation were close, we would have run into these, at least scouts or something. They wouldn't just
scouts.
be whispers.
They killed a miner in front of us.
Those weren't scouts. That was an attack team that came into our train.
But that's my point. This mining thing is clearly doing something to agitate them.
They won't even feel it down here. If they're still working up there, we can't. I'm not picking up any residents of the mining, being even close to this settlement. So, like, something's up, and we're clearly missing a piece of the puzzle here, and we gotta figure out what that puzzle is so we can continue to figure out how to hopefully resolve this piece.
Rail nods and gestures to new eunuchs. You're right, though. Something has agitated them because something changed, and it might be all our fault, and it might not be, but...
What if it was a precautionary measure? What if they somehow saw these people coming and not necessarily, like... God, what's
warning?
The word? They saw what they did as a... not necessarily warning, more of a preemptive strike.
It's possible.
I mean, maybe it's not directly affecting them down here, but who's to say you didn't step on something that was sacred ground, an important tunnel system that they utilize for trade amongst the planet of other creatures. There's a lot of ways this could be affecting them.
I feel like speculating isn't going to help too much because we just don't have enough pieces.
Yeah, but the bottom line is, you're right, that something agitated them because they've been here a long time, and we've been here not nearly as long, but a decent amount of time, and just now something changed. We need to find out what that is.
We need to find some way that we can effectively communicate with these creatures.
Well, I mean, you're able to sense vibes through the Force, and you seem to be the best at being able to connect with folks, regardless of species. So, if...
I can connect to their emotions, but their specific desires, wants, their needs, all that stuff, the specifics, I'm not reading them, at least not as well as I'd like.
Obviously, you can't do all of that on your own. I feel like if I can study them long enough, I feel like I can figure out, parse together any semblance of communication of what they mean, and maybe figure out some way to do it back to them to communicate thoughts and feelings, and then maybe you can send out feelings through the Force to help them know that we're not here, as enemies, and like, so it'll be a team effort, but I feel like if we put our heads together, we can figure it out and be able to get through this,
Right when she says, like, put our heads together, if you look to the right, Nyx has wandered off to go to investigate the area some more.
Nyx, get your butt back here!
I'm just doing a perimeter check. I'll be right back.
No, we're not no, get back here. No, get back, get your ass back here.
Ash, I'll
we cannot afford, no, we were told to stay put. We are gonna stay put. We can do a perimeter check when we're done with this, because we don't want to fuck up before we've even gotten a chance to even, like, talk.
I'm not gonna touch nothing. I'm just...
I will strange land to these people.
I will break both of your legs. You stay here.
This could also be a trap. Did anybody even
I
think
will
about
break
this?
both of your legs. You are staying here.
Broken legs or not, if I'm right, I'm rubbing it in your
Nix,
fucking
if-
face.
Fine.
If you are right and this is a trap and we get into some hell or high water here, you can tell me to my face I told you so. But until then, stay put.
Well, this isn't about that. If this is a trap, splitting up is not the answer anyway.
Exactly.
We'll handle it together.
All right, fine.
Thank you.
I know you want answers. I get that. I think we'll get more working together. Talking. He hesitates at the word to these folks. And right as he says that, that's when the Unav that you saved comes out. And I was gonna mention it before, but the door to this place is like a curtain of these,
Mycelia.
fungi. Yeah, fungi facilia. Oh, that's a good one. Mycelia threads. There's so many that it like really does make like a thick door that you couldn't hope to see through unless you like purposefully like spread them. And there's so many of them that it's like a little heavy. It's like a blue whale's mouth. They have all those.
All
It's
the
not
baleen.
teeth. Yeah, it's not teeth. It's all like intertwined.
Gross.
So they're thin like curtains and look like curtains to the naked eye, but like there's a it would be Nix, you think it could take a blaster shot or two with how like intertwined it is.
Someone really liked the 70s and did not let it go and decided to double down.
Maybe they're in their 70s era, you don't know. Like Planet 51. Who remembers that movie?
I remember that movie, and I wish I did.
I wish I didn't.
You shut up. I love that movie.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to Star Wars: The First Resistance.
Listen, the story sucked, but the world building was fucking awesome in that movie. I'm just gonna say it.
And
What?
The world building of copying our alien panic from the 70s. Because that was the point
You
of that
know what?
movie. It's like, what if an alien came in the 70s when we thought all aliens were going to kill us?
you know what? No more talking about Planet 51. That's in order.
This is spoilers. This is Planet 51. I tricked you. This entire arc is based off of it. No, I'm kidding. It's definitely not what's happening.
Listen, some of Dwayne's best work. I'm just saying.
Though I will say that the bit where the rover they sent to this planet didn't find any of the civilization because it was just taking pictures of rocks was a very good bit.
Yes.
Anyway, the Unav
Anyway.
emerges from the curtain and gestures with its bulbs a like inward wave that like none of you need a check to realize. It's like, come in.
I will follow.
I will also follow.
I will follow.
Nix will follow.
In this place, it's roomy and domed, and there are semblances of furniture, what seem to be furniture, right? It's hard because of the biological difference and the like size difference. It's hard to parse out what exactly is for what. Like, oh, is that for storing shit or sitting on? It's hard because they're like 7 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
But different basic rudimentary shapes kind of all around, but not a lot. There's still enough like that this feels very open concept. And
They watch a lot of HGTV.
yeah, there is a like piece of, it appears to be made of wood, but it's kind of like your best guess is a chest of drawers or something to put things on. There is like one thing shaped in such a way that made of stone that you're probably sure it's for sitting. It's your best guess. There's even on the wall, it appears something flat and with all these, it's so hard to describe, but picture like Van Gogh-esque Starry Night. Like there's a flat canvas, air quotes, you're not sure what it's made of, and kind of in a little bit of a 3D way, there is a visual kind of just abstract artistic piece hanging on the wall for all your best guess is decoration. And that chair looking thing appears to be the only sitting, but there is more of that moss just kind of in a nice little round rug, and standing next to the chair as the Unav that you saved steps aside is another Unav, but this one is different in appearance. It's physically larger than this one you've saved. Like, its proportions are about half a foot more in all aspects. Its legs, its arms, its torso. But it doesn't look more imposing because it is a little hunched over.
Oh, okay.
It does not appear as translucent as all the Unav you've seen so far. It is actually a lot more milky white in appearance. It's like what it's made, the wood or plant fiber that it's made of is a lot more milky white. Though you do see the lights inside it dancing slowly, still rather clearly. It's like what's the word I'm looking for? It's not milky glass. What do you call it when it's like
Tempered?
frosted glass? It's like frosted
okay.
glass. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it does have a spear. It's the best thing you can call these things. You've seen a lot of Unav like wield these, for different things. Like those ones outside, we're using them as farming tools. This one is leaning on it like a cane, the pointy end up. And I say the pointy end, it is some sort of gemstone that I believe I notated, Asha, that you recognized it as like a gem that isn't really mined here because it's not valuable, it's not rare, it's just good for not circuitry. I forgot what I said exactly, but it's
Tools.
Tool. It's just hard. It's rather hard, like diamond, but it's leaning and its head is turned towards you all, and the Unav that led you in kind of walks forward, plops down with crisscross legs on the moss carpet, and looks to you all almost with expectant posture, like, and if you don't get it immediately, it will like take its left hand and pat next to it.
I wasn't
Oh,
next to the Unav, I will sit next to my friend!
I will just sit.
Yeah. It's weird looking at this thing sit cross-legged because it's gangly in shape, and so it's like knees, air quotes, and legs like bend out and up like far more than any humanoid would.
I'm glad crisscross applesauce is universal.
So it's just efficient. The lights inside this clearly, like, if it after this amount of time, it doesn't take any sort of check to realize that this Unav before you has to be older. That the lights inside this older Unav, again, were dancing slowly and were a kind of yellow at first as you entered, and then they're swirling and dancing, and it turns into a green. It shifts, from yellow to still a good bit in the Y value, but as much as you can in a green.
Mm-hmm.
And the Asha, you were watching the movement of the lights inside this Unav you were like purposefully studying it, but at this point you can tell it's saying something. It's trying to, like, it's this has to be how they communicate now. You're sure of that. And the lights dance, and then they dance like upward from its torso towards its arm, but not through its arm, and it sweeps its arm from left to right slowly, and then kind of gestures its arm down towards you guys. But everyone can make insight checks, but this is gonna be hard. And Cal, you have advantage, yeah.
Yay!
Can I give myself temporary boost?
Sure.
17. I have no clue.
Pull out
14.
17 is still pretty good. Efficient, I think it's just a +4 though.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's an 18.
He's monologuing.
Modified 20.
Okay. We'll rule this like everyone but Cal is pretty sure. You're pretty sure you're not getting bad vibes. You're pretty sure it's not mad. It doesn't appear aggressive. You could just tell that by the purposeful, slow execution of its movements. Cal with a non-natural 20, you don't get a lot more than that, but I'll put it this way. there's an inquisitive nature to the final gesture and the final way that the lights dance inside it, as if he had stated something and then asked a question.
Did Earl get any better than us?
Not particularly. He's not the most empathic Jedi.
No, he's not, unfortunately.
They made a statement and then asked a question.
I wish I knew what the question was.
Raestra pauses and shrugs, just like, I don't know.
If I had to guess, I believe they're... And I'm going just off of social cues that I believe anybody would make, but perhaps they were introducing themselves or asking for our names?
I mean, they don't speak with words, so I'm not sure what good that would do for us to say our names out loud.
Raystra's gonna sigh and be like, alright, fine. Nobody else is gonna give this a shot, so I will. I'm going to... Is it like dirt floor, or is there like flooring here?
It wouldn't be dirt. This would all be stone. But you're on some of purposefully placed moss right now for softness.
She's going to open like a data pad or something on her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna write out, can you write in Orabesh, and then show it to them and be like, and like gesture to it, like questioning.
This is very specific because I have a very specific idea of how, because unless a bigger Star Wars nerd can correct me, screens in Star Wars are made up of like LEDs. They're made up of lights.
Yeah.
Just like ours. I don't think there's anything special about holograms are different. They're like a single light source, but screens are basically how ours work. And with that in mind, the one that you saved would like not. Yeah, it would crawl. Like, it would unfold its legs and take, like, a hand step towards you as you gesture at this thing, because it can pick up on your gesturing, and then, like, it gets its head bulb, like, very close to the screen, and even, like, a little bit of the, like... Because there's those 3, like, proboscis bulbs, which you realize must be, like, stamen, right? That's the plant word?
Yeah. Or
an equivalent. That it, like... rubs like 2 over the screen, and then like the bulbs kind of like try to grab the thing, and you think it might try to eat it.
No. she retracts and shakes her head as if to be like, no, that's not. All right, well, she looks at the group and shrugs. Was worth a shot.
Yeah. And Ash, roll an int check with advantage because of the studying.
Yeah. Can I add temporary boost?
Sure.
Yay! No, I don't think that's gonna help me. That's a 13.
13 with advantage?
I rolled a 4 and a 6, Justin.
With a 13, I'll let you know what you're confident that's not. You don't think this is like an animal whose first instinct is to eat something. You think it felt the warmth and the light that was glowing off that screen, and it wanted to do something it usually does with a light source like that, and put it in its body. Hence why you pretty much figured out, just you've had enough time to think about it, that they gather these spores for a reason. The spores glow, little dots glow inside them. They must like consume the spores. And maybe it's nutrients, maybe it's just for communication. It's probably both, is your hypothesis. And so it probably thought this was a weird source, a weird version, because it was glowing one color and constantly and kind of all over. And it probably thought that it would be like a weird new food.
I love the mental image of like shows the alien an iPad to try and communicate. There's just a pause and then no.
You can see that Asha is like kind of trying to rack her brain. I mean, obviously, like, she'll communicate that thought to her friends, but she's almost a little frustrated that she can't parse anything else out.
Well, Cal has a data pad, right? Or is
Yeah.
it just...
It would be weird to not have a data pad.
Cal will take out his data pad, and he's gonna draw
You're gonna draw.
Good idea. Good idea.
Yeah,
He's
draw
gon-
some good.
He is gonna draw just something crude will work, but like just I guess him and another one of these creatures shaking hands to imply friendly relations.
You do that. Should probably be a check involved, huh? No.
I'll
I feel
roll
like
performance.
No. I feel like that's fine. Like it's hard to fuck up that vibe.
Okay.
But you present it to the Unav you saved, and it gets its head very, very close and like feels the screen with like two of its probosci.
I think that's it.
The big probosci.
Isn't that YouTuber nobody talks about anymore?
Jesus.
Jeez. This time, like, it doesn't try to eat it. It picks up that there's something about the pattern of lights on this screen, and it gently grabs it with its hand probosci and presents it to the older Unav, who also like gets its face really close and feels it, and then it leans back and the lights inside it turn a little more green. But also there's a few that have this level of purple to them that dance around at the top of its torso, like kind of this side to side, and it taps its staff on the ground once and gestures with its hand towards the wall, and its lights dance a little. The purple lights dance a little in the arm, and the Unav you saved nods and walks over to the wall and grabs that what you're guessing is artwork off the wall, and the Unav elder takes it in both its hands and kind of turns it around, and you see that it is a canvas of some sort. It's made, again, of the fibers from the mushrooms. But you can see that, especially since he turned the back of it to him, the front of it is to you guys, and this piece of art is made of those spores. And it's all kind of, somehow the spores were locked in a certain color and manipulated into a pattern to look like this abstract art piece. And the elder gestures with his hand again, and the younger one goes towards the back of the house, and then comes back with a jar of, looks like a jar of fireflies, but it is the spores. And the elder like opens the jar and pulls out some spores, but not physically. It's weird. It's like a Fushigi ball magic trick where its hand goes down to the jar, its proboscis move a little, and spores kind of float out to follow his hand.
It's like a snake charmer, kind of.
Yeah. And more like they, because these things really, you'll notice, don't have any sort of sexual dimorphism. There might not be any sexual difference between them.
If there is, we sure as hell can't tell what it is.
Yeah.
They're mushrooms. There's so many genders to these things.
Yeah. And they start, the spores were a lot of different colors as they come out of the jar, but when they fully come out of the jar, they appear to take on the same color as he like turns his hand, and they swirl, and then I keep saying he, but it's fine. And all pronouns valid when you're a plant.
Yeah, when you're a mushroom thing, I'm sure it really does not matter.
Yeah. And they wave their hand over the fibrous canvas, and there's like a wave downward, some waves upward, a side to side, and then like a twist, and then he turns the thing back to you, and you see pretty much as ample a recreation of what Cal drew as possible on this thing, with now the colors are different. The thing representing Kal'Shin is the same blue as Kal'Shin's skin, and the the Unav in question, who's shaking hands, is a kind of a brighter blue, like the blue of Cal's lightsaber.
Cool.
I would like to make an insight check if that's okay, because it's something that I think I picked up on.
Yeah.
I would like to note if there's any correlation between the colors that they sort of produce and their emotions, and if there's a specific color for a specific emotion.
Make that insight check with advantage, because it has to do with emotions.
I give Cal temporary
okay.
boost.
Sure. You see him put his finger to his chin in the
I take a D4.
in the way they teach all Jedi to think, which is why Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay, I'll take a D4. So that's a 17.
With a 17, I'll say you are certain that there is a correlation. Parsing it out, honestly, like, high insight check or not, would take time and trial and error, right? And, like, observation.
Yeah.
But you're pretty sure blue's a good color. Just based on the pool of knowledge you do have is the ones that attacked you were red, and these ones that aren't attacking you were more hues of blue than red.
Red is a universal
Okay.
bad color, it seems.
Always.
Christ. Cries.
God, yeah, every time I go to Target, I just get so fucking angry.
I get so fucking angry.
The dark side.
He'll look to Ash. There's a correlation between the emotions they feel and the colors. I do recall that the ones that were attacking us were producing more red colors, which I believe to be a sign of anger.
But
Blue appears peaceful.
that would make sense.
With that 17, Kalsheen, I'll carry it through. You're almost certain that this gesture is being taken and given as, you come in peace, we come in peace.
But it sounds like they accept and also return our peace.
Well, that's a good start. It looks like we're gonna have to try and figure out how to communicate with pictures. But, that's better than nothing.
Let's see if we can maybe figure out the source of what's agitating them. He's gonna go ahead and draw, as best as he can, he's gonna draw he's gonna make like two arches that are sort of one above the other, and sort of create like 3 layers. The top is just gonna have Cal's just gonna draw like regular people. The bottom, he's just gonna draw like some of the tools. It's not great, but it's best that he can communicate the tools that are there.
Ash can help, because she's probably had to do a lot of
Yeah.
technical drawing with her shit, so she helps you with that.
And then the bottom layer, he'll draw the Unav.
Ah, this is good. This is going more swimmingly than I anticipated, because I had this idea and I thought it would take time for the inspiration to happen, but you guys gave them their inspiration, which is so cool. The young Unav doesn't check the datapad this time themselves. They just bring it right to the elder, and the elder takes in this drawing, and it takes some time. You with your passive insight, at least Cal, I'll give you feel like it is hard for them to parse out these, because pixels, LED pixels at the end of the day are very, very small, and you think they're
Right.
detecting these differences, but it's like trying to look at a tiny bit crushed meme, you know?
I can't fucking read this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the meme of like, too small, can't read, you know, the guy with his hand up to his eye. Yeah.
Just play one of Maxor's videos at 144p.
And at 1.5 speed, you'll never know what he's saying. Jesus, you'll miss so much. But even though it takes some time, the elder eventually nods, and you see most of the lights now turn purple and kind of, instead of swirling, take that side to side motion, and it grips its cane and leans on it a little more, as its head also its head looks down, their head looks down and sways side to side ever so slightly before it finally gestures like upward with its hand for the young Unav to hold up the canvas again, and it with one wave wipes away the old picture. All the spores kind of float up and away and lose the colors that they gave them, and it starts back to work again. And again, this takes like a little bit, like 2 minutes go by, 3 minutes, as it's like you're watching it wave over this thing, and when it finally turns around the canvas, what you see is a recreation of what you drew. Rather vibrant, actually. It's clear to all of you, like, that it got what Cal was doing and then kind of did it better.
He's an artist. Good for him.
But it added more below and around. It drew more cave openings with more Unav shaped things. And there's like around the cave that you drew, there are more, and near the same level, a little bit lower, but then lower still, they drew a cave, and it has Unav shaped beings. These ones are red. And in the middle, kind of like in a place of import among the red Unav, because they appear to be flanking it, is a jagged rock shape, also drawn in red.
Jagged rock shape.
So there's bad ones, is what I'm getting.
Something either corrupting a set of these Unav, or there's just some that defected and are around this large thing.
I think we might need to figure out the source of this rock.
Cal, I don't usually tell players how they feel because that's up to you, but I will say, looking at the visage of this rock and the color, it sends a shiver down your spine. You don't like it.
Bad vibe.
Dark side vibe.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
That looks like something with a dark side in it. Even I can see that.
Oh, because it's red?
I'll make it clear, and not unfamiliar dark side vibe to you, Cal.
Oh.
You're
Boy, did I dream this?
You're reminded of your dream. Just making that very clear.
I think I dreamed this.
Oh?
Visions are never a good thing.
And as you take it in, the elder, like, gestures over, sweeps over the bit of rock between the openings with the blue knobs and the openings with the red, and makes like a slash through. He basically like erases spores rather than making a new line. Inside checks aren't needed to be like a very clear, like, we're not with them.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's about as universal as it can get of a gesture.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that about answers that question.
Friends! These are friends! They are friends. I love them. I wish nothing but the best for them.
No.
We need to protect them with our life.
But then as...
I'm gonna make...
Oh, wait, you do what you're gonna... And then there'll be one more thing.
I was gonna make another picture because I wanted to clarify one more thing, because the Jedi preserve all life, yada yada. He's going to draw.
Wait, I'll stop you there, because I think this one more thing is gonna dictate what you're gonna draw, because the elder makes that slash and then more carefully waves their hand over the bottom part, and like red spores coagulate, swirl, and make their way up to one of the cave openings, not the one that like represented them, but to one of the other caves, and it like turns those Unav red. He kind of animates for you.
So it's a corrupting force, it seems like, right? That's I'm not stupid, right? Like, it seems like this, whatever this is that Cal saw in his vision, in his dream, that it is corrupting these Unav.
That does seem to be it, yeah.
I do think that is what's happening.
Alright, well, where is it?
Deeper.
Obviously. But they seem to know where it is.
I mean, we should probably ask if it's okay to try to take care of the situation. How would we convey that?
That's probably why they brought us here.
I'll draw Nyx.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I will give him a gun, and I'll draw him shooting at the rock, and there will even be like bits of debris to imply the rock is being destroyed. And then I don't know if they would understand a question mark necessarily, but I'll draw that too. Yeah, but I'll basically just kind of through pictures just asking, is it cool if we destroy it? Is it cool if we kill Dwayne?
His name is not Dwayne! I will turn this game around. No, I'm kidding. I will pull this game around.
You're the DM. You don't get a lot of say in what we call shit.
It's true.
If we want to, when we get our ship, if we want to name it the Starfucker 3000 and paint a tank, we can do that.
It's true, except I would have to put my foot down and say it's the Star Criffer, because this is Star Wars.
I'll beat the shit out of you. I can't believe this is how your husband. I can't believe this is how your husband dies.
I mean, we already have a good name for the ship, which I'm not going to spoil until we actually get our ship. So.
All right, so a lot to consider with that picture. I do love it though, and let's see how I'll yes and this. And I think
And obviously our posture is non-threatening, so hopefully they take it more as a question as opposed to like, we're going to just ruin your life.
The elder takes it in, again, not as long as the last one because it's not as intricate of a picture. Tell me though, okay, so I will give me a performance check because you're like, I'm going to draw a caricature of Nyx. Like, that does take some artistic skill, so give me a performance check.
Is that supposed to be me?
A performance check. You got it.
Yeah.
Don't whitewash him.
Oh. Uh-oh. It got stuck in there.
Yeah, please stop whitewashing, clone.
There we go. Oh, that's great. That's a natural one.
It's a stick figure.
It's just a stick, man.
Roxas, that's a stick.
That's
Roxas,
you gave.
that's a stick.
That you gave.
Kitty-chan, that's just a stick. That
you gave a round head and like tried your best to give the hairstyle of Nyx. So like it can be picked up that this is that of you all this is supposed to be Nyx, but it's not good.
Why is my head so big?
I mean,
did they not have art classes at the Jedi Temple?
No.
Oh,
I mean, there probably were, but you didn't have to take them. It would have been like an elective.
No.
A Jedi elective? That's so fucking weird to think about.
I took creative writing, not visual art. Sue me.
I fix your wounds.
True.
Fair enough. I'll be the ones. I'll stick to. I'm the one that does all the technical drawing. No worries. You're the one. We'll work on it.
They take this one in and consider again. Now that a pattern has been emerged, the purple and the side to side motion must mean they're thinking, but the side to side motion is faster now, noticeably so to all of you.
Thinking harder.
And it gets its canvas back and draws a recreation of the rock that you made, and like with bits flying off of it and like maybe a chunk missing. It's very artistic and pretty, but still everything, I'll double down, rather Van Gogh-ish, like with the way that the colors merge, right? And almost pointillism as it were, because it kind of has to be. Pointillism is art made with dots of different color for those listening that aren't. I know, for those listening to the podcast.
That don't know.
Yeah, that don't know. And maybe me a year ago, I didn't know this until recently. So, and it turns the canvas and does give like a very clear like nod, but then they turn the canvas back and draw a little more, and you see that it did pick up it was supposed to be Nyx, and it draws Nyx in the corner and waves its hand over the representation of Nyx and like smears it, like almost like blurs it completely out of recognition, and then kind of like points to you all.
Ah, I see. So
we're gonna die if we try to go do this thing, or we got to try to take care of it? Is that what we're getting at?
It might be saying, I don't know if maybe I misconstrued saying that Nyx would go alone, but either that or it is saying that we'll all just die if we get near it. which is the general vibes.
Is there color on our data pads? Do I have CSP on my data pad?
Not on Cal's for sure, which is
What
why
about
it
on
was a little
mine?
difficult. I doubt on yours either, because it's all either orange or blue, right? Like, it would have to be for art to have, like, any level of color, because they're all utilitarian and, like, for communication and data display and kind of nothing else. But the Elder isn't done.
Okay.
It points at you, points, air quotes, gestures at the group of you, and it does, much like Van Gogh's Starry Night, like it makes a swirly little star of blue light, but it is visibly very dim. Cal, make a insight check. You can make it with advantage.
Advantage?
Temporary boost. Take it, please.
And everyone can make this if they want, to see if they
I'll help.
if they put it together.
I'll help Cal, but I'll roll on my own.
Yeah, because I did not roll very high, even with advantage.
I rolled on
8.
my own. What was it for?
Insight.
Insight? I rolled a natural 20.
13. Ooh.
You got a 13, Asha?
Yeah.
Cal, what did you get?
I got an 8.
Raestra, did you try, or?
I can try.
Yeah.
Nope. Fine.
I love this. This is how I'll flavor this. Cal, you start to formulate, like, think out loud. He must be talking about us. He must be referring to us. Like, you say something like that. Asha, like, agrees. Like, he must be trying to say something about us. And Nyx, it just, like, hits you. He's saying your lights aren't bright enough.
What does that mean?
Bitch.
What does that mean?
Well, with a natural 20, you understand that the lights inside them are their sustenance, their communication, their life essence. And so he's probably, in essence, insisting that you aren't strong enough. You know, people sizing other people up, you're a soldier, it's kind of all you've done. So, like, you're confident that that's what that bit means.
It's saying that we are not strong enough.
Huh.
Huh. Okay.
I mean, I could fold like a piece of, I'm trying to think of what's really... I mean, I would fold like a piece of shell, to be honest, if you just looked at me funny, so, like... But I'd like to think my brains make up for my lack of brawn. But we could be out of our depth here.
It might mean it a little more literally. Like, we just don't have the energy to do it.
Cal snaps his fingers, draws the rock,
Mhm.
and then draws one of the tools. Like, possibly the drill.
Ash can draw the drill. Roll things technical drawing, so...
So you draw, like, the drill, like, piercing this red rock?
Yes.
Draws a Gurren Lagann manga page.
My drill shall be the drill that pierces the Sith rock.
My power is the power that pierces the high ground!
The Elder takes that one in, and immediately after doing so, shakes its head in two big, like, sweeping motions, and hurriedly, like, draws pretty much exactly what you drew, but the drill breaks and not the rock.
Show him your lightsaber.
Lightsaber? I'll draw me with the lightsaber.
No,
hitting
like
the
show,
rock.
like ignite the lightsaber. Show them,
Oh.
show them your light.
Okay. I'll just, as peacefully as possible, ignite the lightsaber.
Fuck yes.
Please don't eat it.
Yum.
Why is it spicy?
Oh, Jesus. Cal,
Yes.
you are like
The
16.
goodest boy.
We're going back.
Oh, thanks.
You're like 16. Or no, I like how old do you think you were when you became a Padawan to your master?
Oh, jeez. How old is Cal now?
He's probably around
He's 24.
23. 23, 24, roughly.
Yeah, I checked. He's 24, so, like, I would say he probably became Padawan at, like...
Because 12's around the average.
Yeah, I'd say 13.
Well, actually, 12 is not the average.
Is it not? Is it?
Anakin and Ahsoka were exceptions. You like, it's kind of a coming of age thing to be a Padawan.
Cause here's the thing, Qui-Gon I think was 12 when he apprenticed with Dooku.
Maybe I am. It's the night thing that I'm thinking of. Yeah, so you could have been
night thing, you know.
Yeah, you are for about the 5th time have come in for your lightsaber training with Master Janai. And you didn't see it, but I did air quotes, because for the 5th time, she has told you to put your lightsaber down. She has summoned you to a meditation room, told you to put your lightsaber down in the middle of you two and meditate. But she did label this as lightsaber training.
She's simply a lying bitch.
Go ahead and make a wisdom check as you meditate how Master Yoda, how the other masters taught you.
22.
Yeah. And tell me what's going through his 13-year-old head in these moments. This is again like Karate Kid, like you were told you're going to learn kung fu, but you're wiping down cars and painting fences.
Okay. All right. So he's focusing on levitating his lightsaber, correct?
Well, she just told you to meditate, but you can decide to do that if you would like.
If he's just meditating, then I think the thing that he would be thinking about at 13 would be he'd be focusing on the sounds of the ocean. He would be picturing algae, just general sea life kind of growing. I wouldn't say quickly, but it's how do I describe it? Like it's almost like he's trying to put himself in the ocean mentally.
With that 22, for probably, I wouldn't say this is like your first successful attempt, but this is your most successful attempt at truly feeling the peace of the living force through meditation. You put aside all thoughts of like, I wonder why we're doing this instead of, learning the forms, and just embrace the force and let it embrace you. And sometimes your breathing steadies and you feel the ocean embrace you. It's warm. Usually it's cold, right? Physically, in the real world, it would be cold.
Right.
But this ocean is warm and comforting, and you truly feel at peace. And you're not jolted out of it, but you are interrupted by your lightsaber was floating and not spinning at all perfectly still, but your Master Janai pulled it into her own hand, and you didn't even notice that part. Well, what you do finally notice that pulls you out of it is her saying a sentence, and her tone belays that she's repeating herself. Do you know why Jedi use lightsabers?
It's for the protection of others, correct?
But why lightsabers? Blasters are efficient, longer range. Weapons like vibro daggers can be hidden more easily.
I'll be truthful in that I always believed there was some cultural aspect to it. But it sounds like there's more.
She smiles. And you can't tell because she's in a mask. But, you can't tell by her lips because she's wearing a mask, but you can definitely tell by her eyes. The folds under her eyes increase. There is. You're correct. Jedi preserve life. We fight for those who cannot. And she turns on your lightsaber. It's shorter because you're a child. That can be adjusted later when you hit your growth spurt. And it's pointed at like a diagonal, and she moves it, and the sound as she points it straight up. We are also to be a light in the darkness. Lightsabers expel darkness. Illuminate. It makes our presence known, but that is the idea. Jedi are to be light, and no darkness can thrive in it. And she turns it off and just kind of force pushes it towards you. Not a toss, just a gentle into your hand.
It's It's a beacon, then.
Yes, precisely. She smiles more.
Hmm.
Ignite your saber, Kalshin. Let's learn how to use it.
He will light it.
The bright blue ignites, and we're back in the present as you're igniting your adult saber. It's longer in the room with these plant creatures who you've just met, but promised to defeat the threat that's threatening to consume all that they know. And the lightsaber hums softly, and both Unav, they've kind of like been on the other side of this carpet this whole time, react bodily to the light. You've picked up on this. They feel more than they see light sources, and this one has, and it wasn't a jolt of fear. It was more like a gesture of awe, and especially the elder one is just like its head is trained on the blade and taking it in like a flower takes in the sun, and it nods slowly and turns back to its canvas to draw the red rock and caricature of you and the others in the corner facing it down, but there's still, he takes his, when he shows you, he takes his hand and puts a blurry kind of swirl in between both the rock and you all to make those colors swirl and blur and smudge. And yeah, I won't make you make a check. You understand that they feel confident in your confidence, but are still unsure.
Maybe a demonstration with the lightsabers in order?
Maybe.
I mean, I don't wanna... We shouldn't do anything that will, fuck everything up, I guess, as it were. But,
If you want to communicate, can we show you, or something like that, just tell me how. You try.
Are there, like, loose rocks outside?
There are... it won't be hard to find one, yes.
Ash will run out and go grab a rock.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, set it down on the ground. A safe distance, you know, blood circle and all that. And then gesture for Cal to slice it with the rock, with his lightsaber.
Yeah, he'll slice it.
And both Unav follow their heads, follow the blade as it slices the rock, and the elder draws another picture of the rock, the big red boulder, and just what looks like a weird, not caricature, but just basic visual representation of your lightsaber. Like, it's clear they can't tell what the hilt looks like, but they know that it's something that's emitting the light, so that's what they've drawn. And they've kind of drawn the lightsaber in equal size to the rock, and they're like clashing, like a representation of two swords, just, you know. And Cal, you definitely think that means that your lightsaber is a match for it, and maybe even make a check for this one. Make an insight check.
Given slapping him a temporary boost.
Do I get... Please stop being stuck. Do I get advantage?
Yeah, the emotions and shit.
Oh, thank God. Okay, that's better than a nat 1. 8.
8? Oh boy. Yeah, you just get that surface level that you think he means, that he understands your lightsaber is a match for it. But then he kind of wipes that picture away quickly and draws, he turns the thing back, and there's time, and then there's like a lineup of what appears to be you all, and they gesture to you all, and then kind of one at a time swirl lights, make swirly lights, and Asha's, yours is a bright blue. Cal's, yours is kind of represented by like the beam of your lightsaber. Ray's, yours? Oh boy.
It's red. Roll for initiative.
it's red. Ray is the rock. Ray is Dwayne.
Why do you think Ray is not adding to this?
Yeah. The spores representing your star above your head are bright, but they keep twinkling like Christmas lights. And it's like when you set the Christmas lights to random flashing, which, by the way, is objectively inferior. And here it appears to be objectively inferior. That like it's there's no pattern, and it's flashing different colors, swapping colors, but it is bright. But then the swirl above Nyx's head is dull, like the first time the chief insinuated that your light isn't bright enough.
There's this moment where Nyx kind of furls his brow a little bit, but kind of shrugs, because like, it makes sense. I'm not force sensitive like these three are.
Your reaction is taken in, and then the elder draws a bowl, what looks to be shaped like a bowl, and spores falling into it. And we'll teamwork this. Asher, make an int check, and Kalsheen make a insight check. And Raestra and Nyx can make this insight check too if they'd like.
Sure.
11.
Advantage.
Advantage, yeah.
I will give myself temporary boost. Bada bing.
That is a 19.
I rolled a 16.
That's a natural 20,
Okay.
and that's a total of 29 with my temporary boost.
Okay.
I almost hit the impossible DC, so I hope it's something good.
So you take in the bowl that this elder drew, and the bowl has separating lines. And you remember very vividly that the bowl they were taking the spore, they were gathering the spores in, the bowl basket thing also had separation lines for measurement. It has to be. You're certain. And if you say that out loud, I think what Cal and Nyx rolled is enough to realize that he is saying Nyx will be measured, tested.
Ooh.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Are you ready to be tested, I guess, Nyx? You prove your worth? I
Sure.
mean, we already know you're quite valuable, but, you know, if we want their
Shit,
trust.
if I gotta prove myself to a bunch of plants, I think I can handle it. We step forward.
Well, you proved yourself to the Kaminoans, so it wouldn't be your first time.
Exactly.
The
Fuck it.
Kaminoans plant people?
Honestly, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I have no idea.
Could be. Who knows?
It could be, but they might not be. I really don't know, and I was too afraid to ask. Like Nyx kind of like admits something to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. The Kaminoans freak me out. It's one of the reasons why I refuse to go back.
They are kind of weird. Cough, cough, one of Heaton's favorite Star Wars races.
Anyway, yeah, Nyx will step forward.
The elder nods and gestures past you all to the door, and the younger Unav, whom you saved, steps out and like holds the curtain open for you all and gestures for you to walk out.
I will follow, I suppose.
I will also follow.
If you all, so you all will probably follow, and the elder is behind you, walking with a walking stick. Cal, it distinctly reminds you of how Yoda used to walk, just like if Yoda were 7 feet tall.
Cal thinks about that and then shivers.
To make you think it was supposed to do.
Big I am.
Blow your
now.
mind,
By
it
my
would.
size, you will no longer.
Bitch.
Anyway, So yes, all right. So I guess I'm in this hut by myself.
Well, no. You all kind of leave, and the elder follows you, and you walk down the street back to the front of town, where the orchard was on one side, but on the other side was kind of nothing. No buildings, just rock. And you see now that you've gotten close that this rock has like a little groove carved into it to form a large circle. Like it's about 50 feet in diameter, we'll say. 100 feet from one end of the circle to the other. Plenty of room for battle. So you all gather along the edge of this circle marked in the ground, and the elder is next to you, Nyx, and kind of gestures with the arm that's nearest you for you to get inside.
Okay. I will step in.
They'll tap their spear on the ground twice and raise it up, and the lights inside them dancing like a bright, vivid purple.
Okay.
And insight checks can be made.
All right.
I don't think it will be. Cal, you'll have advantage, obviously.
Insight.
Temporary boost.
Insight. Wow, that's a 3 on the die both times.
Oh, you
That's
poor thing.
Impressive.
I also rolled a 3.
I got a 16.
So
I got a rock.
11.
16.
Okay. So I guess there's like a decent, long, awkward pause before... Raestra, you can interject if you want, but you're kind of the only one that's like, well, he's raising his...
I also got a 16.
Oh, you did? Okay, so Ray and Astra, sorry. And Asha, sorry, I didn't...
Astra, their fusion name.
Astra. Both kind of at the same time. It's like, well, he's raising his weapon, so...
I mean, ready yourself, Nyx. That's how it looks like they're ready to...
I was about to say, Raestra just gestures for him to, like, we'll go.
Show him what you got.
Do I use my... Well, hold on. Should I use my blaster? I feel like that's not fair if I use my gun.
She looks at him and then looks at you and goes, well, they said that you sucked, so...
Do you, like, take out your blaster to gesture towards it to ask that question?
Yes, I do.
The younger Unav, waves their hand down and shakes their head, and, then their other hand has their spear and shakes it, and then the hand that gestured down gestures towards their spear.
Melee, I suppose.
Here, I'll toss him my vibro spear.
I grab it.
Catch it.
DM, can I use my dexterity modifier with this weapon?
We'll say yeah. Why not?
Okay.
You're built for it. You'll wield a spear in a dexterous way. It's fine.
Okay.
And both the elder and the younger Unav nod at the use of a spear, and you all can kind of put together that's what they meant. Like, this is their weapon. They want to see you fight with that.
Okay.
Maybe it's tradition. Maybe it's just they don't know any better. Hard to tell.
Yeah.
But
they're smart they're smart enough to be able to, like, have orchards and kick balls back and forth. We'll make balls to kick them back and
Speaking
forth.
Speaking of, this procession has garnered attention, and now people are coming out of their houses, and, like, the kids that were playing have, like, kind of migrated over here to watch as the elder raises their staff higher this time and taps it, like, hits it on the ground this time. The others were taps, and this one kind of makes a resounding thud, and they raise their other arm, and spore lights kind of shoot out and dance and make... It's like a red, but not the red of the ones that attacked you, or, like, Sith lightsaber red. It's more like a...
combat red.
A maroon, a police light red, right? And kind of out from behind the buildings on the other side, because you guys approached this combat circle from the streets. From behind the buildings, you hear it, you hear and feel it before you see it. Kind of this rumbling and footfalls as pretty much as big as the building that it emerged from behind, a Unav walks into the circle. They are... they are... So, you know, the Unavs come big. Like, you know, the one you saved is like 7 feet tall. This one is about 8.5, maybe 9. No. And its proportions are all like just like thicker and bigger to accommodate for this, you know, size and scale. And it does have a elongated weapon made of what appears to be the same wood that the spears are, but this one appears to have at the head, instead of a sharpened crystal, it is what looks like one of their bulb heads, one of the bulb heads that the Unav have at the end of each limb and at their head. And it appears to be kind of bell-shaped warhammer like, and it's kind of over its shoulder as it steps into the middle of the ring and makes you ready your spear and say, "Great."
I look at Ray. Why is it me they doubt?
Look, I was just as confused as you are, because, like I said, you could blow me over with a strong wind. Like, I don't know what they see in me, to be honest.
She gives him a thumbs up.
You got this! And it takes the hammer off of its shoulder and lets it fall to the ground by its side. It makes it loud. It doesn't quite make a dent in the ground, but it sounds like it might have.
How far away was it? How far away is it from me?
It was on the other side of the circle.
All right.
But it steps into the middle, and you've stepped, like, you know, away from the edge. So it's like, it's 40 feet from you. But nothing's been rolled yet, and no go has been called.
Me, the player, it's okay. I'll just use onslaught style to knock my opponent over on their ass and then just have advantage on my next attack. Justin, I've accounted for that, bitch.
It is size category large, does it say?
It doesn't give me a size category, but to be perfectly honest, if you're not accounting that, Justin, you're being foolish. That's too much power on my end.
Yeah, I mean, I have accounted for things.
I mean, it's only one size category larger than you, and I'm like,
sure.
anyone, like, big. if cow tipping's a thing, the Nyx can make this person fall on its ass. So, like,
you should be able to knock prone things that are size category bigger than you. Cited source: people tip cows over all the time.
Yeah, but the elder had raised their staff up again as they shot out the red of spores, and then there's like a moment as they hit their staff down on the ground again and shoot out more spores, and these are green. And no insight check needed. Nyx, you think that must mean go, because the big guy takes a step forward, and the hammer comes up. But that's where we'll stop.
Star Wars The First Resistance is a live play Dungeons & Dragons podcast using the Star Wars 5e system, which can be accessed for free at sw5e.com. Our podcast features the player talents of BubblingBrooke as Ashaa-kai, Practically Silver as Couch and Phimiir, Ben Lepard as Nyx, HitenNoRuroni as Raestra Akkan, and this Justin as the Game Master. Big thank you to Arcane Anthems for creating the theme song, and Wondrous Works for the key art. All relevant links are in the description. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, we'd love if you left a positive review and shared the podcast. It might help others find and enjoy the podcast as well. We can't thank you enough for listening to us goof around and tell stories. We hope you will all join us for the next episode. Until then, may the Force be with you.